I oftentimes get the questions of what are some signs that maybe I'm losing my edge as an adult. Maybe I'm getting a little slow relative to what should be expected of me. Well, what we do know is that cognitive decline in adults does not have to be the norm. You can actually keep your skills sharp. But what are some signs of some slowing down of that brain of yours? One thing that I oftentimes ask people is when you're driving, are you finding that you have a lot more people who are quote unquote cutting you off or getting in your way or not anticipating what you want them to do? Sometimes that's an indication that maybe you're not processing what's going on in the road as quickly as you should. And it's something that you might think that it's other people's fault, but really you need to be checking the mirror and looking at yourself. A second thing that you might see in terms of struggling with that processing speed is you may be struggling with following conversation. So if you have 3 or 4 people having a conversation and you go to make an addition to the conversation and they've moved on to another subject, it's an indication that perhaps you're not following the conversation and that perhaps you're not processing the information quite as quickly as you need to. And then a third area is decision making. Do you struggle to make that decision? Are you getting stuck in the data or the information and you can't just quite pull the trigger and make the call on what you want to do? That's just an indication that your brain is a little bit on overload in terms of how much information is coming in and you're not able to process it quite as quickly. And probably the last sign, which is the telltale sign, is are you dropping balls at work? Is just too much, it feels like too much is being put on your plate. Maybe the workload hasn't really increased, but perhaps your productivity has decreased. And that can come up when you find that too many requests are coming in, or you're feeling overwhelmed with the number of requests, or you're not maybe meeting the deadlines that you need to meet. So the question is, what do you do if you have some of these things happening? Honestly, you would have to be pretty disciplined to train your own processing speed. It would require something as crazy as trying to balance something with a ball, like juggle balls, while saying the ABCs, while having somebody distract you and give you 3 words to remember. It's something that requires a lot of loads to be able to actually train that processing speed. It's not about doing one thing faster. It's about training that switching speed. So one thing you could do potentially is maybe set up 4 or 5 activities and force yourself to switch between those activities. But once again, if you're not good about getting to the gym or working out on your own, not sure you're going to be so good about doing this as well. You might want to seek some kind of external intervention like brain training to get those skills sharpened a bit.